you heard there. Pinch hitting for the erudite Cliff Hughes. Hopefully he'll be back in the saddle very, very quickly. It's the first day of the work week. Yeah, there's a cold front out in Jamaica. Yeah, some heavy lifting to do. Let's get to work now.
Tyrone says what's on his mind. Unfiltered analysis and commentary.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you so very much for staying with us. Yeah, I see the care and concern for Sir Cliff in the chat. Yeah, and just keep him in your thoughts and your prayers as we do hope for a speedy recovery. Top of the morning to you if you're listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5. 90.7 and 90.9. If you're over there on our YouTube channel, yes, growing and very vibrant community over there on YouTube, top of the morning to you as well. Remember, if you want to go over there and watch what's happening, see the content live, it's a nationwide 90 FM live too, yeah? So it was good to hear Sir Cliff in his own voice telling us that he's obeying his doctor's orders and sure hopefully he'll be on the mend soon. All right. So we look forward to that. Until then, some days you'll see me. I got other days you'll see George or any other member of the team as we try to slot in. All right. But let's begin with what we have planned for you this morning. The Met Service is telling us that Jamaicans should continue to experience significantly lower temperatures and windy conditions in the days ahead as a cold front continues to impact the island. Principal Director at the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, that's the Met Service, Evan Thompson, says extreme winter weather in North America is to be blamed.
Generally, at this time of the year, we will have cold fronts from time to time moving across North America and sometimes extending into the Caribbean. So what we're experiencing now over Jamaica is one of those cold fronts, having moved across the United States, showing some significantly lower temperatures and maybe snowstorms, etc. It is extending a bit farther into the Caribbean. So we're seeing the frontal boundary moving across Jamaica. Some cooler winds have been forecast to move across the island, mainly over northern parishes. Strong winds from the north and also some significantly reduced temperatures. So we're experiencing some of that across Jamaica.
The voice there of, the ever-present Evan Thompson. He's the principal director at the Met Service, Jamaica's go-to person on matters having to deal with weather. The Met Office says daytime highs may drop to between 24 and 28 degrees Celsius, with nighttime lows as low as 18 to 22 degrees. Some people say that's AC weather. So that's 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. It says the wind chill could cause the temperatures to feel lower or to be lower. Winds are forecast to be near gale force with gusts of up to 60 kilometers per hour, especially in northern parishes and elevated terrains. Periods of light to moderate showers are also forecast, and fishers are warned about rough seas. Of course, I wonder how the folks out in Manchester are feeling, because Manchester has a completely different temperature from the rest of Jamaica. It should be freezing out in Manchester. Let us know how you're handling the cold front, when it's time to take your calls. We're going to give you a long run of this morning, so let us know how you're dealing with the cold front. Do you prefer the weather like this, or do you prefer the sunshine? You want to give us a call, please do let us know. In other news, the month of January, just concluded, 2026, has recorded the country's lowest murder tally in a single month in over a decade. The lowest murder tally in a single month in over a decade. Don't adjust your sets, listeners and viewers. And I want to read that again because it's very, very important. And we should be proud as Jamaicans for the gains being made on the national security front. January has recorded the country's lowest murder tally in a single month in over a decade. According to the JCF's crime data, the country recorded 33 homicides in January of this year. It's 41 fewer than the 74 recorded in January 2025. And if we keep on this trajectory, listeners, the murder numbers for the calendar year 2026, God willing, should be very, very, very impressive. And it's also signaling to us, Jamaicans, and to the world, that what happened last year was no fluke. And I'm not certain anyone should categorize it as a fluke, because we saw the reduction in at least a 3-year pattern, 2 to 3 year pattern. This is very, very good for Jamaica. It sends the right signal to Jamaicans, and it's also sending the right signal to the international community. So, according to our reporting, it's also a major decline when compared to the 84 murders recorded in January 2024. And speaking at a recent handing over ceremony, the country's Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, he hailed the decline as a significant milestone in the country's history, and that it is.
10 years ago, Jamaica was considered the murder capital of the region. Today, I am telling you that this month will be the lowest month in murders for several decades. That's a big transformation. Big, don't make nobody tell you nothing. Big transformation. And everybody benefits from peace. Everybody benefits from peace.
The voice there of the country's Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness. Meanwhile, shootings also saw a major decline when compared to January 2025. The JCF says shootings declined by 41%, coming in at 42 as of January 31. And rape is also down by 33%. Another egregious major crime stat trending in the right direction. Break-ins and robberies are also down at 23% and 26% respectively. Look, we should be very proud to hear these numbers. And I know there are a lot of people who might be a little cautious about celebrating and breaking out the confetti. We're perhaps not there yet, but we should definitely celebrate these gains. These are very, 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 very great gains, and they should be hailed as such. So, much respect to the members of the constabulary, the Minister of National Security and Peace, of course, the men and women of the constabulary led by Dr. Kevin Blake, the Minister of National Security and Peace, Dr. Horace Chang, all should come in for commendation. The Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, the administration he leads, must also come in for commendation whenever we see these numbers. This is the direction in which Jamaica should be trending. It's a big deal. I think it's Vaughn Thomas on our YouTube channel saying, I agree, Tyrone, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And we should make no bones about that. It is a big deal. Do you know how many lives these numbers translate into? Do you know how many people are remaining with their family because we have our foot in the neck of crime and murder in particular? Do you know how many Jamaicans get to remain with their family members, go home to their loved ones, are able to hug their children, are able to see their children grow up another day, another year? It's an absolutely big deal. And perhaps the most important of all the functions of government is to keep its citizens safe. And the Homeless Administration are doing a great job at this. Are there concerns about the police shootings, the fatalities? Yes, there are concerns. But we have sufficiently built out an apparatus and infrastructure where we don't have the police investigating themselves, and we must allow the system to do its work. We can't just scream that things are going wrong and look, the police fatal shootings are going up, so something has to be wrong. That is not reasonable. It's not a logical deduction. Investigate, and when we investigate, if the men and women who are involved in these police shootings are found to be wanting, they've run afoul of the law, then allow the law to take its course. I just appeal to Dr. Blake and the members of the security forces. We know where we're coming from with the police force. A lot of work has gone into making the police force into a different kind of service. I just appeal to the men and women of the constabulary led by Dr. Kevin Blake, please stay on the right side of the law. Please stay on the right side of the law. And for those who don't want to stay on the right side of the law, we should allow the long arm of the law to take care of them. We're on our first break for this morning. Let's take a break and come back with more.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
The Time brought to you by the Ministry of Energy, Transport and Telecommunications. Fueling growth everywhere is
10:16.
Experience the natural mystic of Bob Marley at the annual Bob Marley Tribute Concert, Emancipation Park, Friday, February 6th, Bob Marley Day, starting 7 p.m. See musical tributes by Stephen Marley, Ed Turner, Bushman, Warrior King, the NAJ Musical Trio, plus two reggae bands from Mexico. That's the Bob Marley Tribute Concert, Friday, February 6th, 7 p.m. at Natural Mystic in Emancipation Park.
Admission is free.
Persons with disabilities and their caregivers. Register on I Am Able My JCPD, the official digital platform of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. Created in partnership with UNICEF, the online platform makes it easy for you to connect to information, programs, and support. Sign up today at jcpd.gov.jm/IamAble or call the JCPD Help Desk at 876-447-0444 for assistance. The Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. Educating, advocating, empowering.
Want to see what happens before we go live? The doors are about to open. Nationwide Family Club coming soon.
Tyrone says what's on his mind. Unfiltered analysis and commentary.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
Welcome back. Thank you so very much for staying with us right here inside Cliff Hughes Online. Generally on a Monday, you hear the voice of the erudite Cliff Hughes. I'm pinch hitting for him. Of course, we wish Cliff a speedy recovery. For those who are inquiring about Cliff. He's on the mend, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Sir George, you should see Sir George doing some of the heavy lifting for Cliff as well. And I'm also being told by Nora that the occasionally erudite Ricardo Brooks, you may also hear him on Cliff Hughes online on a number of the days as well. All right, so make Ricardo feel welcome whenever he sits in the chair. We're talking about crime, and I see one of our YouTube viewers, Angie Determine One. Interesting name there, Angie. Interesting handle. She says, remember the PM promised us, the Jamaican citizens, that we will sleep with our windows and doors open, and it's happening, Tyrone, she says. And I'm happy Angie made that remark, because the truth is, for a very long time, the opponents of the Prime Minister used that declaration to score political points against the Prime Minister. They beat him across the back with it, like a strap. And I think in later years, the Prime Minister also sought to, I wouldn't say walk it back, but he delivered some comments about it being aspirational, trying to temper the expectations. But if we continue on this trajectory, and hear me well, if we continue on this trajectory, Jamaica may very well become a place where all of us can sleep with our windows and doors open. Isn't that a wonderful thing? It is an absolutely wonderful thing, and that is my wish for Jamaica. That you can just walk into your house and leave your door open, and you don't have to worry about putting up these bars, because we've made fashion out of what they call these metal bars, grills. We've made fashion out of them, but it's really because of the lack of safety that people feel. Why you see so many houses grilled? You have some. I've passed some houses, and the grill extends from the gate to the house. That's a feature of how people felt, concerning safety and crime and violence. Look, man, I celebrate this, and I say to the police force, stay on the right side of the law with this. Do the right thing. If gunmen challenge the police in every situation, we want the police to win. But stay on the right side of the law, because we know how easily things can descend. Still on crime, though, the Manchester police are appealing for persons of interest to turn themselves in, for 2 persons of interest to turn themselves in, as investigations continue into the murders of 4 men at the weekend. Commanding officer for the Manchester Police, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, says the murders took place in separate incidents.
So between 7:30 p.m., January 31st, 2026, and 3 a.m., February 1st, 2026, we were impacted by 3 incidents that resulted in 4 deaths within the parish. The first incident occurred in the New Hall district, where one Dejani Hamilton was fatally shot. The second happened over in Old England, where we saw 2 persons being killed at a premises. The third incident happened in Ellen Street, also in Manchester.
The voice there of commanding officer for the Manchester Police, Superintendent Kerry Duncan. The other deceased men are identified as 36-year-old Adrian Reid, 22-year-old Raheem Ward, and 33-year-old David Brown, all under 40. The police have since named 2 persons of interest in connection with the murders, and Superintendent Duncan is urging them to surrender to the police, might I add, peacefully.
So based on where we are at this time with our investigation, we are encouraging 2 persons that we believe can assist us in advancing these investigations. And the first is Mr. Orion Nelson, otherwise called Prince, of a Mayday address, as also Mr. C.J. Wilson of an Old England address. We are encouraging them to make their way to the nearest police station, or in particular, the Mandeville police station.
Superintendent Kerry Duncan there, the commanding officer for the Manchester Police. Anyone with information that can assist in locating Nelson and Wilson is being asked to contact the Mandeville Police at 876-962-2250. That's 876-962-2250. The Mandeville CIB, the 119 police emergency number, or you can contact the nearest police station. Now, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Dr. Anthony McLaughlin, has been reassigned from the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Branch, CTOC, and will now lead the Forensic Services Branch. Senior Superintendent Christopher Brown will fill the role as head of CTOC, and Superintendent Victor Barrett has been transferred from CTOC to the Crime and Security Portfolio. A superintendent has also been transferred to CTOC from the Firearms and Narcotics Division. Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake announced the leadership changes in the latest edition of the Force Orders. The changes take effect today, Monday, February 2. Dr. Blake says the adjustments form part of an effort by the High Command to refresh leadership and strengthen management and supervision. And of course, based on some news we heard in recent times, there appears to be a need for that shaking up. So we'll continue to watch that one for you. In other news, though, more than 33,000 customers of the National Water Commission, the NWC, remain without potable water since the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The update was provided by the Office of Utilities Regulation. That's the OUR. It says customers in 7 parishes remain without water. They are Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, Hanover, Clarendon, St. James, and St. Anne. And of course, no effort should be spared to ensure that these persons are reconnected to the national network that provides water. The OUR says the majority of the 33,230 customers without supply are in St. Elizabeth, where only 55% of customers have had their service restored. Must be pretty tough without water, especially after you have been living with it for so long. It must be very tough to be over 3 months since the passage of Hurricane Melissa. And we do hope that the NWC will continue to spare no effort to ensure that these customers are restored. The Westmoreland follows behind St. Elizabeth with some 9,000 customers still without water. In Hanover, only 58% of NWC's customer base has had service restored. The OUR says the delayed restoration is largely due to power-related challenges and mechanical constraints affecting the commission. Yeah, and we do hope that ease will come for those residents sooner rather than later. Now, the Children's Advocate, Jamaica's Children's Advocate, Dan Gordon Harrison, says a ban on social media in Jamaica may not solve the problem of children accessing inappropriate content.
Also, very importantly for me, is that there should be some responsibility on the tech companies in terms of ensuring that age-appropriate access and screening is built in, so to speak, so that we don't have children unwittingly accessing content. Because if we ban it, yes, it signals a very strong position, but is it something that children can get around anyway because of how tech savvy many of our teens are? So I don't think a ban is the foolproof answer at all.
The voice of the country's Children's Advocate, Dan Gordon Harrison. You know, quite frankly, I think Australia might be onto something. That country implemented a world first ban in December 2025, prohibiting children under 16 from accessing major social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. The law places onus on companies to prevent access, with potential fines that amount to millions. Other nations, including France, Denmark, and Norway, are implementing stricter age-based restrictions or parental consent laws, following the global shift towards stricter regulation. However, Gordon Harrison says she's concerned that it could give rise to an underground industry.
For me, however, it's not a one size fits all that we ban it and then we move on. Because if you do that, as with many other things that have been prohibited through history, there's going to create almost an illicit underground route through which children will access it. So I believe in looking more at the root causes, and also as in the root causes that expose children in the first place. And, you know, there is some responsibility that certainly parents have and adults who are in the space of children have to ensure that there is monitoring at home.
The voice here of Jamaica's children's advocate, Dan Gordon Harrison. In the meantime, the president of the National Parent Teacher Association of Jamaica, that's the NPTAJ, that's Stuart Jacobs, supports a social media ban for children.
I would say that our society should ban it almost immediately and do a reset of our children, a reset of our population as to how it is we deal with social media and the content we get in from it. Because the behavior change and shift that we are seeing on a negative way is as a result, clearly as a result of social media, where a lot of parents have allowed social media to be rearing their children.
Voice there of the president of the NPTAJ, Stuart Jacobs. He went on to say, in the absence of a ban, children should be effectively monitored by parents. He says devices should be confiscated when there's lack of compliance with boundaries. I'll share my thoughts on this pretty quickly. I think the world is recognizing that the assault on parental consent that we've seen in the last few years, particularly from perhaps folks who are on the left, isn't serving our children well. I think a mixture of perhaps a ban for children under a certain age, and also those issues raised by the children's advocate and what Stuart Jacobs is saying to us here about effectively monitoring children, the parental control mechanisms on the devices that children use are quite extensive, and parents just need to be a little bit more proactive. That is definitely, because social media isn't the only means by which children can gain access to harmful content. So the response should be increasing parental awareness in terms of the mechanisms that are available for them to be able to restrict the devices from their own phones, their own devices, that they'll need consent in order to access content online. Parents need to exercise that kind of control that's available to them. But a ban for children under a certain age perhaps is wise. The content on social media can be particularly harmful. It can be particularly harmful for adults, much less children. And so I think Australia might be onto something with this ban. But it can't just be a ban, because as the children's advocate is saying, a ban will create a vacuum, and then you'll need to address that vacuum. So it has to be a mixture of elements to form a well-rounded approach to protect our children. Because these tech giants and these social media platforms aren't necessarily interested in looking out for our children. We have to be the ones to do that. We're going to take the break right now, and when we come back, we're going to take your calls up to 11 when we have a segment with Winsome Callum of JPS at the top of the hour at 11, and then after that, we will take some more of your calls. This is a Monday morning edition, the most maligned day of the week, Monday morning. It's the Monday morning edition of Cliff Hughes Online. We take a break and come back with your calls.
hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose.
Mark's a Superstore, Lionel Town and Portland Cottage Bear Clarendon has all your hardware needs.
Visit our expanded showroom today and shop at leisure for your building materials, furniture, and appliances.
Take advantage of the 10% discount every Thursday on all brands cooking gas.
The Time by Mark's Superstore, helping you build dreams from the ground up, is
10:33.
Eclipse Enterprise is your go-to source for billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. Telephone 876-960-3891. The temperature by Eclipse Enterprise is...
It's, you're not used to these temperatures. It's 21 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston and a shade cooler at 20 out west in the tourism mecca of Montego Bay.
It's time for Hot Listings, nationwide 90 FM's on-air classifieds, made for quick ads and...
Public opinion.
Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a GLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371. 630-9372, 630-9373, and 630-9374.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right. Like a rock, like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you so very much for sticking and staying with us right here inside Cliff Hughes Online. We're going to the phone lines now, taking your calls. 876-630-9371-4. 876-618-6730. I think our first caller online this morning is Anthony. Mas Anthony, top of the morning to you, man. What's on your mind?
Brother Tyrone, how you doing?
Sir Anthony, how are you, man?
It is well with me. It is well with me, my friend. It is well.
My colleague and brother. Good to hear you, man. How are things?
Yes. God is good, brother. God is good. Tyrone, first, let me start off by saying I want to really congratulate the JCF on the achievements thus far. We all love a safe Jamaica. We need a safe Jamaica because we know what that can do in terms of, well, our number one product, which is tourism. Because but not only that, Tyrone, it's also for people to be able to go about without any fear of, leaving your house and not getting home back alive and stuff. So this is a great achievement thus far, and we need to continue to encourage the men and women of the security forces. And also, as you rightly said this morning, to try to minimize fatal shooting, because that also is a concern and stuff, and we would want to see that go down. But at the end of the day, Tyrone,
I missed that. What did you say is a concern, Anthony, as well, and you want to see go down?
Fatal shooting, police
fatal shootings. Okay.
Yeah, but there's a caveat though, Tyrone, because I strongly believe that if these criminals challenge the security forces, they must not come out on the winning end. So if they challenge, then you choose your own destiny right there. So I want to put that in there also.
I want to just say, I know you have another point, but let me just comment on what you've said thus far, Anthony. I'm actually happy that you added that caveat that the reduction in murders and other major crimes isn't simply for visitors, for tourism. It is primarily about Jamaicans. We must feel safe in our country. So I'm actually happy that you added that caveat. Of course, tourism will benefit from the reduction in murders, and the safer Jamaica is, the more tourists we'll see coming into the country, and of course that will be good for the economy. And the issue of the police shootings, I'm telling you, there are folks who just want to say, look, the numbers are high, we have a problem. I said on this very program, I believe it was, that chances are we're going to see an uptick in police fatal shootings if murders are to go down. Because some of the individuals in this country are hell-bent on wreaking havoc and mayhem, and they will not go quietly. And that is something that is something the folks who are just saying, look, something is wrong because the fatal shootings by the police have gone up significantly. That is something that they have not sufficiently factored into their reasonings.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So,
but go ahead, my brother. You had another point.
Yes. So, Tyrone, my other point is in relation to the press conference that the People's National Party called on, I think it was Thursday of last week, if my memory serves me right. And our good friend Chevon asked a question in relation to the money, the Hurricane Relief Fund that the party had, where they had collected some money for to distribute. And I was taken aback, Tyrone, by the response to the question, because here's a party who, during the recent election campaign, was talking about accountability and was big on accountability. But now it's their time to have some level of accountability. And the first thing, Tyrone, when they said that the money went into is going to become a part of the party's what you call it? At the end of the year, when you do that thing and give a report, end of year report, and I can't understand that, Tyrone, because I'm saying if you collected money for a particular purpose, hurricane relief, why can't you say, hey, X amount was collected, X amount was spent, it was spent in this way or that way? Why can't that information be given to the Jamaican public? And I have a problem with that. And Tyrone, if I get a chance, I would suggest you listen to the response. And then to add insult to injury, Miss Burchell at the end is going to say, the government need to come to the country and tell us what they are doing with the money that they have gotten. So far, to the best of my information, whether it is a concert or whatever, the government always said how much money was collected, where the money was, and stuff. And even when they're asked which money has been distributed so far already, they're able to tell us. So I was really appalled and taken aback by the response, Tyrone. And I'm sure a lot of other persons would might feel the same way about the response. I don't know if you had heard the response.
I didn't hear that particular response, but I say this in general, that if you put yourself out there to ask for the public to fund any venture or endeavor, you should give an account to the public. And the account that you give as stewards of those funds should stand up to scrutiny. I'll say that. Based on what I've listened, coming out of that press conference by the PNP, I'll say this: the PNP are entirely unserious about governance. It was entirely unimpressive what we saw and heard from the People's National Party in that media conference. Based on the news items I've heard, entirely unimpressive. Yeah.
Tyrone,
go ahead.
When you get a chance, I would invite you to just listen to the response to that particular question to Shepard. And
I'm going to ask Nora if she can find it, and we'll try and play it on air as well.
All right. All right,
Master.
Thank you so much.
Man. Take it easy, man. All the best, man.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have Fox. Good morning to you, Fox.
Morning, brother Tyrone. How you doing, brethren?
We're trying to bank cleaner. How things with you, man?
Man. Cool, man. Out of cool, my brethren.
Give thanks, man. You know, a welcome word from the heat, man.
Yes, man. hey, I want to say to Daddy Hughes, to just keep focused, get some rest, and get back strong. Because you want him in a time like this. So big up yourself, Daddy Hughes, and I wish you a speedy recovery, my boss.
Absolutely. I'm not certain he might not admit this, but Cliff needs to. I guess he might know how important he is to the advancement of this country. So
yes, man.
We do hope him a speedy recovery. He has meant a lot to our profession of journalism. I told him that what he has done with Nationwide News Network is the stuff of legend in Jamaica. You know, not somebody who is coming from old money, and to have established an entity like this, it's a big deal, and we do hope that he'll recover rather quickly. Lots of people praying for him, man. So we do hope. And he's listening to his doctors.
We now look at the negative side and all what others are saying about him. A positive we are dealing with. So God will deal with Daddy Hughes, man. So take it easy, Daddy Hughes.
Yes. Yes.
You see, I have to call this morning, you know, and one of the things I want to tell you.
Hold on for me, Fox. We are up on our next break. Just hold the line for me, no? Let's take a break and then we come back with your thoughts, all right? Soon come.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock, like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got.
Fill all your prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is
10:46.
Every day, Jamaicans have something to say. In the group chats, on social media, in the streets, there's a place where it all comes together. The comment section. This is not a lecture. This is not a call-in show. This is the hottest topics of the day, filtered through real opinions, real WhatsApp messages, real voice notes, real reactions. You agree, disagree, sound off, text it, voice note it, debate it. Comments section, Monday to Friday from 7 to 7:30 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, and 630-9374.
Welcome back. We're here with Fox. Good morning again, Fox. What's up?
Yes, brother Tyrone. So what I'm saying to you, brother Tyrone, you see that when I go hard out here, especially work hard as a foot soldier for the Jamaica Labour Party to ensure that this Prime Minister Andrew Holness regain the third term. It's no, and I'm not mistaken, and I'm not hype me go and find a brother Tyrone. Now, when I listen, 2016 when the Prime Minister is coming in, and he said to the Jamaican people that if you want to live safe in your yard, and you must not make the mistake and put it in the PNP, and you can live with your window and door open. Brother Tyrone, I believe in the visions of this Prime Minister. And when I look today and see where the reduction of crime come, my brethren, Brother Tyrone, we are on track for greatness. And I want the Commissioner of Police and the Minister of National Security to keep their head focused, right? To get this country to where we are, where we can live, raise family, and do business, Brother Tyrone. Right now, Brother Tyrone, right now, we are at a point where if a man hear the police, then call his name in interest in talking to them, they're going to make it get themselves available. Of course, some will not go down without a fight. And my point this morning to you, Brother Tyrone, is the government to continue to be tough on crime. I was listening to a voice note yesterday of one of the foremen that was killed. And how the baby mother was talking that when the door was knocked, they said they hear somebody, it's a police, and as the man opened the door, Brother Tyrone, and when the lady talk, almost shot the man get in her head right in front of his child, with Brother Tyrone. They said, we need to get rid of them criminally, I'm brethren. And I hear a talk about police fatalities, Brother Tyrone. You have to have some of that. If you want to get this crime rate down, you're going to have some fatalities. And the people at the human rights and Hindicom need to understand these things. You have some criminal out here, Brother Tyrone. They say anything or anything, and then now give it up without a fight. But when you go on, Brother Tyrone, at the press conference of the People National Party, I hear Mark Golden said he met with a certain individual whose name is allegedly in the university business. And it's one of the things that Mark Golden said, he said the person know that is one of his own members. You hear me, Brother Tyrone?
Yeah, we hear you. I
hear Mark Golden say one of the members that are out there, what his name Alex, in the mix up with the university. Yeah. He said meet with him and he know his position. And I hear Mark Golden even went as far as to say he is going to await investigation and let the chief fall where they may. And when I look at this opposition, I mean, really have to accept them serious at 89 old because when the Integrity Commission was mingling in the Prime Minister business, Mark Golden didn't really claim. Take it and
what do you mean mingling, though, Fox? What do you mean mingling? Wasn't the Integrity Commission doing their job?
When they was investigating the Prime Minister.
Yeah, but isn't that their job?
And then job, me brethren, but Brother Tyrone, up to today, the country is still waiting to hear from the Integrity Commission. What have they paid the private investigators to do? What have they done?
The Integrity Commission has questions to answer, but you can't mischaracterize what they were doing. They were mingling or middling. they were doing their jobs. Whether or not they did the job appropriately, in certain instances, there are questions to be answered there. But I say this about what you've raised. I listened to Mark Goling on his response to that particular question about, and I think Mark Goling's comments are unacceptable. They fall short.
Yes.
This is not very difficult, should they await the investigations? Absolutely. But internally, as a political organization, that is the party that represents the members that form the opposition.
Right.
It's simple to get to the bottom of this. It's simple to get the answers that you need. You talk to the people who are allegedly involved. If it is that their companies are so embroiled in this particular activity, then you have to take some kind of corrective action, right? I don't think Mark Goling's approach raises the bar for accountability. That is the point that I'm making. I know people are innocent until proven guilty, but
that's right.
But what he offered, I think, in the public domain at that media conference was not sufficient. Yes, it was not sufficient, and it doesn't say to us that Mark Goling-led PNP will be strong on accountability if they form the next government. I didn't get that from that media conference.
Me, Virgin, my brother, I'm going away now. But let me tell you something. You see, we are watching in a better time, and I personally tell you, I am out here, I'm ready for them. Because him thinks we finish with him. We know them in our Virgin. We know what they're up to, And they are not allowing the journalists. They're not answering the journalist question as how it should do. Them set up a GoFundMe, my brethren, and the country want to know what have they done with it, how much they have collected, and you hear in Telese, they set up a committee, and at a later date they will come to the nation to come tell me what they collect and what they do with it. You know, see a fool and take with my brethren.
I'm not going to go that far. Nora, can we find that portion of the media conference and play it? I'm going to try and find that portion of the media conference and have it played on here. You're the second person raising the issue with us. So we're going to try and find and play it, Fox. Thank you, though, for the call, Fox.
All right, nice to be here.
Yeah, man. Have a good one. This is the second caller talking about that response. Look, entities are free to, within the ambit of the law, seek public funding to address matters of critical importance. But the truth is, it's still up in the air, I think, whether or not the PNP should have done that as a political organization. It's up in the air for me as to whether or not the PNP should have done that. But we'll try and find a clip about the response as to what they've done with the funds, and I'll try and play that for you after we have this interview at 11. We're going to take a break for you to hear the hot listings, and then we'll come back with the JPS. Soon come.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock.
It's time for Hot Listings, Nationwide 90 FM's on-air classifieds, made for quick ads and fast results.
Mandeville, the wait is over. Parkland is now open at 18 Ward Avenue, bringing the widest range of packaging products to suit all your packaging and storage needs. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Call us at 876-577-9467 or 876-618-6375. WhatsApp 876-577-9065 to make an order. Parkland Industrial Company Limited, the experts in industrial packaging products and accessories.
One good thing about music when it hits you.
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, now available in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now.
Everybody Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
That was Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM. Listings start as low as $1,500. Call 876-630-1210 to book yours today.
What's everyone talking about? It's Front Page in This Morning. Get the issue of the day this and every weekday morning at 7:20 a.m. on Front Page. This Morning. Morning radio the right way. Front Page is brought to you by ABC Electrical for a better choice in the electrical business.
Super healthy, super happy. SuperMed located in Kingston, St. Thomas, Portland, and St. Mary. The time by SuperMed family of pharmacies and Hughes Dent Pharmacy is
11 o'clock.
Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock, like a rock. I was strong as I could be.
Welcome back. Thank you so very much for staying with us right here inside Cliff Hughes Online. The station is Nationwide 90 FM, and of course, I'm your host, Tyrone Reid, filling in for the erudite Cliff Hughes. We're now being joined, I said earlier it would have been Winsome Callum, but we are being joined by Media and Public Relations Manager at JPS, Audrey Williams. Top of the morning to you, Lady Audrey. Welcome to Cliff Hughes Online.
Hi, top of the morning to you too, Tyrone. Thank you so much for having me.
We're happy to have you. Of course, JP is doing important work out in the field after the passage of Hurricane Melissa. And you are here to give us an update on the electricity restoration post Hurricane Melissa. Where are we now?
All right. So we were able to meet our commitments. Again, we're always making sure that we meet our commitments. So as at the 31st of January, but before that, on the 30th, we were at 96% restored. We continue to work. As you know, the last mile is typically the most challenging. Populations are more dispersed. Access is a big issue as well. The roads and lack, because of the damage done by the storm, etc. But we are pushing ahead. We are now over 70% in Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth in terms of customers who have been restored. And we are pushing very hard because we do understand, the inconvenience. At the same time, it is a situation that was unprecedented. Right now, We're in areas we are using technology that is new in the sense that it has never been used to our prior to Hurricane Melissa. We had not used this technology, and you would have heard about the emergency mobile power generation unit that we've installed in Darlington. Why? Because we recognize that the time that it would have taken to build back the transmission and the distribution to allow them to receive service was going to be really extended. And so what we did was to install, as we did also for Treasure Beach, we have installed something that is temporary, but which will assist persons to get some normalcy in their lives. So it will restore the emergency services, places like the health center, schools, the police station, the tax office, and so on, and then the commercial areas as well, because that's where people are employed, that's where they make their money, that's how their lives pick up and have some kind of normalcy before we branch out into the wider residential areas. So we have that going, and by about mid-February, mid this month, we're going to have another emergency mobile power generation unit in Bethel Town, also in Westmoreland, because of the similar reason that we know that it would be an extended period of time to get them back to a position of normalcy. So we're putting in temporary measures. It worked in Treasure Beach where we had done it first. We've been able to remove it from that area because we're able to get them back on the grid. But as we continue, we are exploring more creative means, more creative solutions to getting our people back in after what has really been an unprecedented level of damage over there.
I see someone on our YouTube channel asking, what of White House in Westmoreland? Do you have anything specific for the folks in White House, Westmoreland?
All right. So there are specific criteria that would enable persons, communities to benefit from that type of facility. I'm sure we've looked at White House, but unfortunately, they would have to meet a number of criteria in terms of the transmission and what elements of the distribution are down. White House is definitely on the radar, though, because we've gotten a lot of feedback. We know that we're nearby. We know, in fact, that they see us driving to and from, people literally in White House saying, but I see you driving past me every day. What is this? So we know that you're seeing us and we are coming to you. As usual, we don't like giving a date if we're not 100% sure that we can deliver on it. But I will say that it is on the radar and it will be sooner rather than later for White House.
So for the folks in White House, the JPS says help is on the way. You did say 96% of your customers have been restored. In terms of numbers, what does that translate to in terms of the number of customers who are still without electricity?
Right. So our customer base on average is about 700,000 customers. I'm trying to do the quick math here. I know that we have over 20,000 customers out. I know when people hear that it's 4%, it sounds like we're minimizing and making it sound like it's a very small number. But when you take it from the whole customer base, it's a couple of thousand people who are out still. But we are doing everything we can to get back to them as quickly and as safely as possible, because we always have to have safety as a top priority in an exercise of this nature.
Now, it sounds as if the areas that were most badly affected, Lady Audrey, are the areas that are last to be restored to the grid. So it sounds as if JPS has been doing. Are you hearing me?
Hello?
Yes, Lady Audrey, are you there?
I don't know
right now. She's not
me.
hearing. We are hearing you. Are you hearing us?
No. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry. It got a little patchy.
Okay. Are you hearing us now? All right. We're going to have to try to reconnect with Audrey Williams. A studio tried to sort that out, and then when we come back. But the question I wanted to ask her as the studio tries to sort that out is sort the line out with Audrey Williams from the Jamaica Public Service. She's Media and Public Relations Manager at the Light and Power Company. It does sound as if JPS has been doing the restoration from the outer bands in to the areas that were perhaps predominantly affected by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Is there a reason for that approach? There might be people who are thinking, why didn't you start at the epicenter of the damage and build out? I'm not sure if you're back with us, RJ Williams. RJ, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I didn't hear the first part, but piecing it together, I think you're saying why not start at the epicenter of the damage? Is that what you said?
Right, and build out. There's a reason you start from out in to where is more significantly damaged. There's a reason for that, is there?
No, absolutely. So, in doing our restoration protocol, first of all, we have a restoration protocol where we start in terms of who are the priority customers to be put in. But also, if you think of it like the source of a river, or if you want to use the wholesaling analogy, so let's say you're selling goods, you start with a factory, and then you sell to wholesalers in big bulk, like, whole containers and so on, and then you work your way down into the retailers who sell in smaller quantities, and you get to the corner shop. So if you take that analogy over to electricity, the big factory is your power plant. Before you can do anything, you've got to have the big factory in good stead. So you start by making sure your power plant is in good working order. And then now we get to the wholesalers. The wholesalers are the transmission lines. They carry very high levels of electricity, certainly not what you would get in your house, right? You can't take that electricity. So you have those high-level electricity providers as the transmission, that's the wholesalers. And you get down to your retailers as the distribution line, yeah? So now you're coming down to the community level until finally it gets to the transformer, that's the garbage pan-looking thing on your pole, and it steps it down once more to your household. So now we have to start with the power plant and then move to the transmission network, then move down to the distribution network, and then finally to your community. So if it is that there is very bad damage on the transmission network, even if you feel like it would be better starting at the epicenter of the damage where you can see a lot of damage, the fact of the matter is you have to start out where the source is coming from and work your way in. So that is how, in the same way, the river comes from the head of the river, the waters from the head, and it flows right downstream. It's the same principle. So that is why we have to work it in that way. And in terms of the priority customers, we start with our essential services first, because for obvious reasons, right? So NWC, your airports, etc., your telecoms, and so on. Then we get to the large commercial centers because we're trying to get people back in their jobs, back working, back producing. Then we go down to the large residential areas and then smaller residential areas, and we make our way down to the individual case-by-case scenarios. So that, in a nutshell, is the approach that we take to restoring persons, to restoring communities, the island. It is really proven as best practice in terms of getting the country and people back on their feet.
Absolutely. I'm being asked to, just to digress a bit here and ask you about reports of outages caused by the cold front. Have you heard of any such outage?
Yes. In fact, we do have some outages caused by these strong gale force winds, predominantly in the corporate area as well as St. Catherine and Clarendon. So what has been happening is that we have suffered some broken lines and some trees have come down on the wires as well. So we are having our emergency teams out there addressing as we can, as it is safe to do so, to get persons back on board. This sort of thing is not unusual for this type of wind, but we are continuing to work on resilience. And what is interesting too, Tyrone, is that the areas that we are rebuilding right now are standing up pretty well in these winds, which means that the rebuilding effort is bearing good fruit. that the areas that are out are not necessarily areas that were rebuilt, because in the restoration, you know, you go through, right? Your main goal is to get everybody back in, and then after you've done that, now you do what we call second pass, where you go back now and you start building in resilience, putting in other measures to fortify and to boost the resilience. So the areas that really are getting that kind of rebuilding, they have been standing up pretty well. The ones that are out are the ones that we've gone through quickly, we've got you back in. We're going to get you back in again. But rest assured, we're coming back to do that second pass to building the resilience. It's all a part of our preparation for hurricane season 2026. Can't believe we're actually saying that already, but yes.
And the cold front isn't, you did say the areas you're presently rebuilding isn't really being adversely affected by the cold front. Are there any areas at all that are under this rebuild, undergoing the rebuild, that have been affected by the cold front? Are there any areas at all?
I don't have any information to suggest that those areas are really being seriously impacted. No.
All right. And you did mention emergency teams having to respond to the areas that are being affected by the passage of this cold front. Do we have sufficient manpower to attack that? I know lots of effort is being placed on the rebuild.
Right, for sure. So what we do, and this I guess is pretty much routine for all utilities, we reallocate where we see the need, bearing in mind that this is pretty much something that is passing, it's quite temporary. So we reallocate where we need to. We get the customers back in the corporate areas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, in just sections really. And then we reallocate them again back to, you know, the pressing matter of restoration. And this wouldn't be like a wholesale reallocation, you know, you're just pulling as needed to get them back in. And so it's really a balancing act, but we do have enough boots on the ground to manage it.
So it should necessarily add to the time frame that has been set for the rebuild. It shouldn't throw it off by too much then.
No, I don't think so. And we do have our goals that we are working toward, and so far we are not seeing where this is going to throw us off at all.
Well, all right. That's it there. I'm not certain if there are any last words from you, Lady Audrey, any last words from you, because that's it from us here.
Okay, sure. Well, you know, as usual, we want to encourage persons to be safe. So if you see where there are broken lines or any such thing, as usual, you will exercise due care and not go near the line. You're going to assume it's an electrical line, even if you're sure in your heart of hearts that it's just a cable or so. No, you are going to avoid it, and you're going to reach out to JPS to report that. We want all our customers, all members of the public, to stay safe and to also look out for your neighbor and friends.
Thank you so very much, Lady Audrey. I appreciate you being on with us this morning.
Thank you so much, Tyrone. Thank you for having me.
All right, have a good one. The voice there you just heard was Media and Public Relations Manager Audrey Williams. Of course, she's with the Jamaica Public Service Company, right? The Light and Power Company. All right, we are up on our break we're going to take the break, and then when we come back, we're going to take some more of your calls. Soon come.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me.
Every day brings its own pressure. Noise, bills, stress. The things that weigh us down and affect our well-being. That's why Nationwide 90 FM has created Wellness, a daily program designed to guide your focus on your physical, mental, emotional, and financial health. Real conversations, trusted experts, practical advice. No judgment and no quick fixes. Just meaningful steps towards better living. Wellness, weeknights from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Only on Nationwide 90 FM. Because progress is a process. It happens one day at a time.
The news cycle doesn't end on Friday. It needs perspective. That's why every Sunday at midday, Nationwide 90 FM presents The Week That Was. A clear, informed review of the top stories that shaped the past week, what really mattered and what lies ahead. No noise, no theatrics, just analysis, context, and clarity. The Week That Was. Sundays at 12 noon with a repeat at 6 p.m. Understand the news before the week begins. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, and 630-9374.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock, like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you so very much for staying with us right here inside Cliff Hughes Online. Yeah, we're working the phone lines, 876-630-9371 or 876-618-6730. We have Delroy on the line. Top of the morning to you, Delroy.
Hey, good morning to Tyrone. Good morning to Nationwide. How are you doing?
Not too shabby for a middle-aged guy, thank God. How are things with you?
Well, give thanks to life, brother. It could be worse, but give thanks to life.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah. What I want to talk about, you see, I remember last week, the PNP, they have a press conference. But up to now, I can't even understand that press conference. And why I say that? The opposition leader always talk about accountability. But to me, I think accountability, he's talking about it for the labor, but not for the PNP. And why I'm saying that, you see, I remember after election, they have a thing where they put out where them saying that they're doing some correction for help people. And straight along, they've been asking about the government, what about the amount of money that come in the country? And meanwhile, they have that press conference, they ask them about how much money did he get received. And they say that is not important, that's not what they come about.
Nora's found that clip for us. You're the third person calling about that particular response. Nora, were you able to locate that exchange at the media conference where the PNP personnel were asked about the funds that they collected? This is the third caller we've had raising it. Are we able to? So Nora is going to try and find the clip, and we're going to listen to what the PNP said in full in that clip, because you're the third caller on it, and then we'll offer some commentary on it. But you can complete your thought, my good sir.
Yes, because it was Chevron who was asking the question, and them said that was not what they call about, and they didn't give no statement pertaining to it. You know, the member of parliament for the PNP, that one in Moby, I forgot her name.
Nikisha Birchall.
Nikisha Birchall. Yeah, she was give some nice sweet speech and things like that. But what I want to say, whether I be PNP or Labour Rights, we don't want no sweet speech. We want the real thing. We want to know the real thing, where the money go. So if it's Labour get the money, we need to know. If PNP get it, we need to know. No sweet talk not going to work. We don't want that.
All right. Well, we're trying to pull the clip up. So as soon as we get the clip, we'll play it, sir. As soon as we get the clip. So keep listening. All right.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. This is the third caller on that particular exchange at the PNP's media conference. So let's pull that one up. I didn't hear that particular exchange from the media conference. So I wanna hear it. And a lot of people don't seem to be impressed. They don't think the PNP and that media conference, it wasn't a model of accountability, it doesn't seem. So let's have a listen of it. What I heard concerning the response from the opposition leader, and in relation to what's unfolding at the UHWI and the allegation of possible involvement with a sitting member of parliament's company. It wasn't sufficient at all from the opposition leader. Absolutely was not sufficient. It did not sound like a party that is prioritizing accountability. Did not give that confidence at all. Yeah, did not give that confidence at all. So Nora is working on that as she tries to pull that one up. Remember the lines to reach us, 876-630-9371-4 or 876-618-6730. Yeah.
This is breaking news from Nationwide Radio.
The breaking news is brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing building solutions for everyday challenges.
Good morning, listeners. At 11:25 a.m. on this Monday, February 2, 2026, Nationwide News can report that Jolyon Silvera, the former member of parliament for Western St. Mary, has given instructions to his attorney to change his plea to guilty in the matter concerning the death of his wife, Melissa Silvera. We understand that Jolyon Silvera's plea is his position, his instructions are that his plea be changed to guilty relating to the charge of manslaughter. That is what we understand, not murder. He's not pleading guilty to murder, but that he's pleading guilty, he wants to plead guilty to a charge of manslaughter. Now, it's of course up to the prosecution to determine if they will accept that course of action in this matter. But a significant turn of events, and we understand that it follows the publication of ballistics evidence. Of course, the government would have had its own evidence from the ballistics office. The defense would have, of course, sought to get their own, and based on how both sets of tests correspond and the overlay, we have been made to understand that it is the considered opinion of the man at the center of this matter, Jolyon Silvera, that his plea be officially recorded as guilty to the charge of manslaughter. I repeat, Jolyon Silvera, we understand, has told his lawyers that he wants to plead guilty to the charge of manslaughter in the matter concerning the death of his wife, Melissa Silvera, at the couple's matrimonial home. We'll have much more on this story in subsequent newscasts.
The breaking news was brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing building solutions for everyday challenges.
Welcome back, listeners. Massive breaking news item there from Nationwide's George Davis, the former People's National Party Member of Parliament for St. Mary Western, Jolyon Silvera, we are being told is to enter a plea of guilty to the charge of manslaughter in relation to the death of his wife. Yeah. And of course, that case, that trial there in the gun court, the 52-year-old businessman was arrested and charged on January 18, 2024. He was charged with murder, but as you heard there from George, what he has pled guilty to is the lesser charge of manslaughter. Yes, he has been in custody since the shooting death of his wife, I think, in November 2023. I think, based on reportage here that I'm looking at, previous reportage. Look, a massive development there in this story. It is one that has been on the radar. People have been watching it. There have been some developments in relation to the media being able to cover it and so on and so forth, the media not being allowed to cover the matter. We're hearing now that the 52-year-old businessman that was arrested and charged with murder has pled guilty to, or is to plead guilty to, manslaughter in relation to the death of his wife, Melissa, in November in November 2023. Right. So we'll have greater details, further and better particulars for you in subsequent newscasts. But this is a major development, and we will definitely keep you posted on this one. We're pretty close to our next break, yeah? So let's take the break and come back with more of your calls.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
Want to see what happens before we go live? The doors are about to open. Nationwide Family Club coming soon.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90FM, a new revolution in media.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, and 630-9374.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm.
Welcome back. Thank you so very much for staying with us right here inside this Monday edition of Cliff Hughes Online. If you're just joining us, we are returning from the break, fresh from a major breaking news item there from Nationwide's George Davis in relation to the trial of former People's National Party Member of Parliament for St. Mary Western, Jolyon Silvera, who was charged with murder, the murder of his wife. And look, the matter is being tried in the gun court. The 52-year-old businessman was arrested and charged on January 18, 2024 with murder and had been in custody since the shooting death of his wife, Melissa. Of course, you remember the details. It wasn't initially thought to be a murder until the post-mortem was done. Look, lots and lots to be explained in this particular trial. And I know it's one that the public has been looking to. Look, man, I'm telling you, this is a major, major development. We're talking about a former legislator, in our country, being charged with the murder of his wife, and we're now being told that he is to plead guilty, not to the charge of murder, but to manslaughter. And then we'll see how the Crown takes it from there. We, of course, we'll continue to watch this one for you, and we will try to, of course, get the people with the expertise to talk about where we go from here in future programs. I'm told, though, is Delroy still on the line? Delroy, are you there? No, it doesn't seem we have Delroy. Sorry about that, Delroy, but we have that clip, though, from the PNP's media conference that at least 3 people have called about in relation to what has happened to the funds the PNP collected for victims of or persons affected by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Nora, are we ready for the clip? Let's take the clip now. All right, are we still preparing it?
In this matter, I did make a promise to my listeners that I would ask this the next time I had an opportunity, so I bring it here. We're still in the recovery phase from Hurricane Melissa. The People's National Party has courted donations from individuals on behalf of that effort. Is it the intention of the opposition to make available to the public what has been collected in terms of the quantum and what that sum has been used for in the spirit of accountability?
Well, the People's National Party has always been very transparent and open with our financial accounting. Annually, that is published, audited financials, and I'm certain that this will form part of that process. In the meantime, we urge the government to be transparent and candid and to tell the nation what they've done with the millions they've raised in the name of Jamaica to build back constituencies such as South St. James. We're still waiting to get some of that.
So, yes, we have put in place a structure. We created a new structure after Melissa with a national disaster risk management committee within the party. There's a chairman who is Fitz Jackson. There's a projects director who is the treasurer of the party, Senator Keisha Anderson. And part of their mandate is to ensure that there's full accountability and accounting for any relief that is administered through the party. So those reports will be prepared and will be made available in the appropriate channels. What I would say is that what we have heard is that there have been many billions of dollars of emergency procurement by the government. Emergency procurement means that there is no proper tendering and you don't know whether you're getting value for money. Now, I'm not saying that the circumstances didn't warrant using that procurement methodology. What I am saying is that the accountability for those resources becomes all the more critical. And we don't know what mechanism the government is going to provide to assure the public that those resources have received value for money. I remember arriving in Black River a few days after Melissa, and I saw a member of parliament, not from St. Elizabeth, on a street corner. And when I asked, I was told trucks were being used for the cleanup. So there you go. From the day one almost, the potential for nepotism, the potential for persons getting the benefit of their inside connections was being manifest. And so I feel that this is very important, and that I ask the media to ensure that they hold or try their best to hold those who are responsible for these huge resources being expended are held accountable for how it's being done. Similarly, in relation to the university hospital matter, I realize that the media is fixating on the allegation made by one media house. But when you look at the report, there are many important issues in that report that need to be addressed and should not be swept under the carpet. There are multiple players involved, and it's important that we don't abandon any kind of balance in how we deal with this thing and focus on what is actually before us from a credible source. And the only credible source presently having provided any information to the public on this is the Auditor General through her report. And to the extent that she has findings in there that warrant further investigation, I expect those further investigations to be done by the appropriate authorities.
Well, there you have it, listeners, viewers on our YouTube channel. The response here from Margot. Let me start with no, right? What was that? All of it. Let me start with this first. Mark Goling said something that I think needs to be addressed about there hasn't been proper tendering because of the use of the emergency methodology. I think Mark Goling has been involved with governance long enough to know that the use of the emergency measure in the procurement apparatus does not mean that something is going wrong in and of itself. It does not mean that. Yeah? It does not mean that. So that's the first thing. You can't be saying proper procurement isn't taking place because the procurement systems allow for emergency procurement. So the fact that he's just connecting those two is entirely unfortunate, and it sends the wrong signal. Yeah. So there is that, and of course the passage of Hurricane Melissa left us with an emergency. He left the country with an emergency, right? And those so empowered to scrutinize the awarding of the contract should do so and let Jamaica know if we're in fact getting value for money. But I want to address that. Now, the PMP did commit to making the information available. Yes, they did commit to making the information available. I heard that in the opposition leader's response. I don't think Nikisha Birchall's response was as good as it could be because she went almost immediately. The opposition leader eventually did it as well, but went almost immediately to trying to turn the question onto the government. But the truth is the PMP should give an account for the funds it received, and the media should continue to press for the PMP to make this declaration. The People's National Party is one of the two major political parties in this country, and if they came forward to the public and said, look, outside of what the government is doing, we want to ask people who support the People's National Party to contribute funds so that we can be of assistance to those who've been affected by the passage of the hurricane. Nobody should really have had to ask the PNP this, They should have been advising the public at intervals as to how much they have collected so far and what they intend to do with these funds. They shouldn't wait for Siobhan to bowl this bouncer at them. Nobody should have to ask them to tell us about this. So they've committed to giving the information. Mark Goling did have that in his response, and we should continue to press the People's National Party to come forward and say how much they've collected, yeah, and what they intend to do with it. And that should happen before the close of business this week. It should happen before the close of business this week. Yes, if the PMP wishes to maintain its standing in the eyes of Jamaicans, that should happen before the close of business this week. He went on to talk about further about the UHWI situation. Perhaps if we have some time, we can take some more of that clip. But we have a caller online. Killer Bean. Bean, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Yeah, man. What's on your mind, man?
Okay, sir. How are you doing? I thought it was Mr. Hughes today, but it's not, and it's still okay. All right?
That's all right, man. Yes, man.
Yes. So tell me if you agree with this. Leave I alone. If I don't trouble you, leave I alone, and this world will be like a happy home, and the Lord will walk again in Jesus' name. Amen. Do you agree?
That's quite abstract. I mean, what are you asking me to agree with?
Okay, what I have just said. You know, if I don't trouble you, leave I alone, and this world will be like a happy home. You know, that sounds right to me.
All right, and the greater point you're going on to make is what?
Well, finally, I will just simply say you should just have yourself a wonderful rest of the day and be okay all the way. Goodbye for now.
All right, kid, Mr. B. Oh boy, thank you. You know, who done it? Good morning to you. You're up next.
Yeah, morning, Tyrone. Morning, YouTubers and listeners. Good to see you in good spirit, Tyrone.
we have some of the best callers.
Despite the cold. Yeah, this must regarding the hurricane relief. You know, when Siobhan put the question to Mr. Bolden.
Mm-hmm.
It's really unacceptable though, because Auntie Favor would have completed her budget in a month or two. I mean,
I'm not so certain you should be comparing this to the budget.
You know, but I mean, if you're talking about accountability and transparency, you would have actually have those matters in place prior to start the portal, you know?
Here's what I would say. I said earlier that they should have been coming to the country at intervals to advise how much they've collected and what they intend to do with it.
Yeah.
That is true. This press conference was perhaps called to address another matter. So they may be able to make the argument that they don't have the information on hand. Let's just give them that, right? So they don't have the information on hand. However, they did commit to making the information available. Now, I'm saying if the PMP are really serious about accountability, that information should be in the hands of Jamaicans before the close of business this week, because inquiries have been made about it. So I don't think it's fair to say that they aren't committed to releasing the information. They did give that commitment, and they should release the information with dispatch. It shouldn't be long. They should release the information quickly this week. No later than this week, they should release that information.
Well, it should be before, because what happened, you must be careful that if persons who can confirm that they transfer to that portal, they can ask their lawyer to take out a lawsuit against them, you know, so they have to be very careful, you know. That's and don't make it reach that stage, you with me? But Tyrone, remember,
I hear you. We've gone past the break. Who done it? Can you hold until we come back from the break?
Yeah, I'll hold. Thank you.
All right. We take the break right here and come back with you.
My hands were steady. My eyes were clear and bright.
Furnitureland at 112 Constant Spring Road is Jamaica's premier furniture retailer when searching for stylish and elegant pieces for your home. The time by Furnitureland is
11:46.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, and 630-9374.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us right here. Who done it? You're still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here, Tyrone. Yeah, what I was saying is that, remember, Mark Golding, as, based on his behavior, remember that he has to be boxed into a corner before he divulged that he was a British citizen. So we only hope that he don't reach
that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, we only hope that he doesn't reach that stage where he has to be boxed into a corner once again for him to come clean, because some of the persons who, as I said, who donated can seek some sort of legal redress. It can be a lawsuit, you understand? So you must be careful there. And then, at the press conference, I thought somebody was going to also put the question of the Majora, the alleged money that they collected. I don't know how true it is, but it's alleged that they got $12 million US from Majora. And
hold on there. Yeah. I'm not even sure where you go. I'm not sure. I'm not even certain. I didn't hear you properly, and I'm not even certain if I want to ask you to repeat it. So, because it sounds to me that you're repeating an allegation, not something that you've proven.
No, that's why I say it's a allegation.
All right, so let me leave it there then. Since I didn't hear you properly, let's leave it there. You're repeating an allegation. Yeah, I have to take another call. Who done it?
Yeah, man.
I have to take another call. But thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. All right, Carl, I think is up next. Top of the morning to you, my brother.
Tyrone, who is the head of the PMP?
Let me 1 second, Carl. There are people who are saying he said it is alleged. Saying it's alleged doesn't cover in terms of being hit with a libel suit. It's not sufficient. It doesn't remove the possibility. Yeah, because you can be sued for repeating something that is libelous. Yeah. Go over to you, Carl. Carl, are you there? It seems we've lost Carl. My goodness. So sorry about that, Master. Please give us a call back. The call has dropped. Look, the People's National Party, and that 3 months into the passage, into the aftermath of the passage of Hurricane Melissa, and the fact that the PMP had to be asked about how much they've collected, what they intend to do with it, what have they done, is an indictment in and of itself. That is an indictment in and of itself. However, they did commit to providing the information, and we should hold them accountable. And that information should be in the ears and hands of Jamaicans before the close of business this week. Anything else would be unacceptable. Carl, you're back with us.
Yeah, Tyrone, morning. Who is the head of the PMP?
Go again, Carl.
Who is the head of the PMP?
You're playing games, Carl? You're playing games or something?
Is Mark Golding the head of the PMP?
Come on, Carl. What can I...
Mark Golding campaigned for 4 years about integrity. And the minute something fall that Mark Golding to stand up for what he campaigned about, he backed away. He I'm back away Thursday.
And you're talking about his response to the UHWI matter and the parliamentarian on the PNP side.
Thank you very much, Tyrone. Thank you very much.
That's what you're referencing.
Yes, sir. And in back away.
I don't think his what he offered was sufficient at all. It was not sufficient what the PNP president offered. Not sufficient.
Exactly. And the next thing, Tyrone, with the turnaround inside the court with Mr. Silvera today, Mark Golding have questions to answer.
And first of all, yeah, the matter is in the courts. But how are you tying this to Mark Golding?
Yes, Mark Golding post and his...
You know what, Carl, let me not ask you. The matter is in the court. I'm not going to go down this road with you.
After that time, we'll ask that question.
Yeah, afterwards we can discuss that.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, and Carl, there's something, your line is echoing. We need to work on that. All right, that's Carl there, you know. Carl is one of our regular callers, you know. But if you weren't with us earlier, there was a breaking news item, yeah, involving former PNP member of Parliament for St. Mary Western, that's Jolyon Silvera, and the breaking news item is that he is to plead guilty to manslaughter in relation to the death of his wife. He has been charged with her murder and charged with murder in relation to the killing of his wife. So let's see what happens from there. We should have some further and better particulars for you in subsequent newscasts. But a major development in this case, that is this trial that is taking place in the gun court and that the media was not allowed to cover. You know, there was that controversial matter. Yeah. But definitely one to watch. Yeah, definitely one to watch. It's a major development. And hopefully we'll have some further details in The World at Noon, which comes up at the top of the hour. We're going to bring the morning session of Cliff Hughes Online to a close right here. Yeah, we're going to take the break here. And then, of course, you'll hear The World at Noon at the top of the hour. And then we'll rejoin you, God willing, at about 12:30 or so. All right? Suka.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes.
It's time for Hot Listings, Nationwide 90 FM's on-air classifieds, made for quick ads and fast results.
Pure Photography, professional photography services based in Kingston, capturing weddings, engagements, portraits, and special events with a focus on real moments, beautiful details, and timeless images. Contact us at 876-417-0635. That's 876-417-0635. Or visit purephotographyjamaica.com.
That was Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM. Listings start as low as $1,500. Call 876-630-1210 to book yours today.
You think you're getting the full Nationwide experience now? You just wait. The Family Club is coming soon.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's Talk Justice every Mondays from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honeybee
and Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow. Ow.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boyatings After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
12 o'clock.
The News at Noon teasers are brought to you by AnyBet, your best bet.
It's credible and factual. The World at Noon on Nationwide 90 FM.
Very good afternoon to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the Nationwide World at Noon for this afternoon, Monday, February 2, 2026. Former PNP MP Julian Silvera pleads guilty to manslaughter in the 2023 death of his wife Melissa. Sections of the corporate area St. Catherine and Clarendon without electricity amid cold snap. Finance Minister Favour Williams says Jamaica's debt is expected to return to the 60% of GDP target by 2030.
By 2029, 2030, that's a period in which we expect to be, back near the 60%.
In regional news, Mexico to send humanitarian aid to Cuba this week. In international news, UK Prime Minister says Mandelson should be booted from the upper house amid links to Epstein. In sports, JPL action continues on Monday as Arnott Gardens host Dumbeholden at Tony Spalding Complex. The details after the break.
The News at Noon teasers were brought to you by Anybet, your best bet. The Midday News is brought to you by Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Former Member of Parliament for Western St. Mary, Julian Silvera, has pleaded guilty to manslaughter in connection with the death of his wife, Melissa Silvera. The plea was reportedly entered when Silvera appeared in the gun court at the Home Circuit Court in Kingston on Monday, as the matter was set to proceed to trial. At the previous court sitting in January, Silvera's attorneys had applied for an independent examination of critical ballistic evidence, resulting in a delay to the proceedings. Silvera was initially charged with murder and with using a firearm to commit a felony. Melissa Silvera was found dead at the couple's home in Stonyhill, St. Andrew on November 10, 2023. Early reports suggested the 42-year-old had died in her sleep from natural causes, but a post-mortem examination later revealed that she died from gunshot wounds. Silvera was arrested and charged in January 2024 and has remained in custody since then. Had he been convicted of murder, Silvera faced a possible sentence of 30 years or more. By pleading guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter, if accepted by the court, it means that the unlawful killing did not involve malice or intent, which is a key element required to prove murder. Silvera is being represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny and Attorney at Law Patrice Riley. The Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, has confirmed electricity outages in sections of the corporate area, St. Catherine and Clarendon, as a result of the heavy gusts associated with the cold front currently impacting the island. Media and Public Relations Manager at JPS, Audrey Williams, was a guest on Cliff Online on Monday.
We do have some outages caused by these strong gale force winds, predominantly in the corporate area as well as St. Catherine and Clarendon. So what has been happening is that we have suffered some broken lines and some trees have come down on the wires as well. So we are having our emergency teams out there addressing as we can, as it is safe to do so, to get persons back on board.
The cold front has been causing significantly lower temperatures and windy conditions across Jamaica. Residents have reported overnight lows ranging from 14 degrees Celsius to 21 degrees Celsius, particularly in higher elevations and rural areas. Daytime conditions are expected to remain generally cloudy, with periods of showers affecting most parishes. Williams says that the outages are not unusual given the weather. She says, however, that the areas affected are not among those that were severely impacted during the passage of Hurricane Melissa.
What is interesting, too, is that the areas that we are rebuilding right now are standing up pretty well in these winds, which means that the rebuilding effort is bearing good fruit. The areas that are out are not necessarily areas that were rebuilt, because in the restoration, your main goal is to get everybody back in. And then after you've done that now, you do what we call second pass, where you go back now and you start building in resilience, putting in other measures to fortify and to boost the resilience. So the areas that really are getting that kind of rebuilding, they have been standing up pretty well. The ones that are out are the ones that we've gone through quickly, we've got you back in. We're going to get you back in again. But rest assured, we're coming back to do that second pass.
Audrey Williams, Media and Public Relations Manager at JPS. Finance Minister Favour Williams says Jamaica's debt is expected to return to the 60% of gross domestic product GDP target by 2030. That's in contrast to the International Monetary Fund IMF's recent forecast of 2035. Dana Davey reports.
Percent of GDP. It further noted that debt is expected to fall to 65% of GDP by the end of the next fiscal year, and projections are for it to remain in that range until 2031. At that point, the IMF believes debt will then continue its downward decline, reaching 58% of GDP in 2035. According to Minister Williams, the ministry's projection is due to a difference in calculations.
They include the securitization that we have done for Montego Bay Airport and Norman Manley International Airport in their debt calculation. So it's higher by around 4.5 percentage points. So you would have to make that adjustment in order to compare our numbers versus theirs. They include it, they meaning the IMF, includes it in their debt calculation.
Okay.
We've had meetings about this. We understand how they do it. They understand from our perspective as well. And that's why you see the footnote in there so that readers can make the adjustment and compare like for like.
Minister Williams says the government calculates the securitization of the airports as revenue. The finance minister says its projections show Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio returning to 60% in 5 years.
By 2029, 2030, that's the period in which we expect to be, back near the 60%, 60, 61, around that target range.
Meanwhile, the IMF anticipates that by the end of the current fiscal year, the Jamaican economy will decline by as much as 5%. Growth is also expected to be flat for the next fiscal year. In 2027, the IMF projects recovery growth of 3%. For 2028, a further 2% growth is anticipated, with 1.5% for the years beyond. Minister Williams says for both years, with the capital expenditure anticipated, she is expecting above average growth.
The spending that we are going to be doing should provide us an above average growth. If it doesn't, something is wrong. We are going to be spending billions Jamaican dollars in terms of, as I said earlier on, road restoration or health facilities, water infrastructure, and so on. That's going to employ a lot of persons. Other contractors will be out there. We are fully expecting it to increase our growth rate over the next years, looking out into the future.
Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Minister Williams says that the government is in the process of developing projects that will be funded by the monetary aid committed by several international financial institutions.
We did receive recently from the IMF the US $415 million, but with regards to the other entities, CAF, EDB, IDB, they are awaiting our projects for us to name the project. And as you know, the Prime Minister announced NARA, the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority. The projects are being prioritized and in very short order. And we will be engaging with these entities because their loans are investment specific. Unlike the $415 million from the IMF, which is the rapid financing instrument that helps to provide balance of payment support.
Favour Williams, the Minister of Finance, speaking on Nationwide this morning on Monday. In December 2025, international financial institutions committed a $6.7 billion aid package to the government. The key contributors were the International Monetary Fund, the Inter-American Development Bank, the World Bank, the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, and the Caribbean Development Bank. The 3-year multi-partner aid package is intended to support Jamaica's recovery, reconstruction, and long-term resilience following Hurricane Melissa. Now, commuters in Somerset, Manchester were forced to walk several miles Monday morning as taxi operators withdrew their services and blocked the main road to protest deplorable road conditions. Heavy-duty vehicles operating at a quarry in the area are being blamed for contributing to the conditions. One taxi operator is calling on the government to step in and ensure those responsible for the vehicles are properly sanctioned.
The government supposed to do something about the quarryman who's nasty up the road. Because the government give the quarryman a license to run the quarry down there. We need the government, we need somebody from the representative, the MP or the councillor, somebody to come and talk to it today. That's so we can get some justice to done to the road. The quarryman nasty up the road, we agree about that. With the premix? Then with the premix, with the stuff down there, where they might overload the truck. But what I'm saying, we need somebody from the government authority to come and talk to it today and give us some form of clarity.
Member of Parliament for North West Manchester Michael Phillips says he understands the frustrations. He's calling on stakeholders such as the Manchester Municipal Corporation to act.
Myself and councillors have made numerous reports to various agencies over a number of years, my last being to NEPA. The operators of the coast-to-coast quarry has to take some responsibility for the state of the roadway. I am seeking the intervention of the municipal corporation, which the road belongs to the Ministry of Mining, NEPA, and all the other stakeholders to intervene in this matter.
Michael Phillips, MP for North West Manchester. The majority of businesses in Montego Bay, St. James that were devastated by Hurricane Melissa are now operational. President of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Jason Russell, attributes the turnaround to the combined strategic intervention of the government and the private sector.
Yeah, man, the recovery of Montego Bay is not magic. It came about by hard work and a lot of planning done by several agencies. The Parish Council, of course, took lead. And behind that was the Tourism Recovery Task Force headed by John Biles. And, you know, the private sector really came on board. And, of course, we have to give kudos and thanks to the eastern side of the island that lend a hand. And people overseas. World Central Kitchen came on board in a very strong way. And giving hot meals on the ground within 2 days of the storm made a big difference.
Russell says the hurricane dealt a deadly blow to the tourism and entertainment industries in the St. James capital. He says, however, that with telecommunications, power, water supply and road networks now restored, Montego Bay is now functioning at a high level. He's now appealing to the government and other stakeholders to let the world know that Montego Bay has reopened for business.
I think the main issue we're having now, you know, while we're up and running and open for business, is actually getting people back on the island. A lot of people have the message, a lot of the news agents and outlets sent out the message that Jamaica was destroyed by a Category 5 hurricane. But they haven't retracted that. They haven't really gone back and did the cleanup and said, look, although they were hit, they're now open for business. I think that's something that needs to be done. That message has not resonated worldwide yet. And we're feeling it. That effort that went out to show that we were destroyed, we need to double down and send the message in the reverse.
Jason Russell, President of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. To regional and international news now. Regional news. Cuba is to receive a shipment of humanitarian aid from Mexico this week. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum made the announcement on Sunday. Her comments came after U.S. President Donald Trump said he asked the Mexican leader to suspend oil shipments to the Caribbean island. Mexico has become the main supplier of crude oil and refined products to Cuba since the U.S. military removed Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. Mexican oil has long acted as a key lifeline for Cuba. In its most recent report, the state-owned refinery Pemex said it shipped nearly 20,000 barrels of oil per day to Cuba from January through September 30, 2025. International UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer believes that Peter Mandelson, who resigned from the Labour Party on Sunday night over his links to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, should be booted from the House of Lords. Emails released in the US on Friday suggest Mandelson forwarded internal government information to Epstein when he was business secretary in 2009. He also appeared to say Jamie Dimon, boss of JP Morgan, should mildly threaten then Chancellor Alistair Darling over a banker's bonus tax. Documents also suggest Epstein paid him $75,000 in 3 separate transactions in 2003 and 2004. Downing Street says the Prime Minister has ordered an urgent investigation into Mandelson's contact with Epstein while he was a government minister. In stepping down from the Labour Party, Mandelson said he wanted to save the party further embarrassment. Sir Keir sacked him as the UK's ambassador to the United States in September 2025 over his links to Epstein. A partial U.S. government shutdown entered its 3rd day on Monday. Democrats continue to demand immigration reforms as part of any funding deal to reopen the government. Last Thursday, the Senate agreed to a package of 5 spending bills, but stripped out a 6th bill on full fiscal year funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Instead, it approved a 2-week funding for the department that gives lawmakers more time to work out disputes over its long-term budget. Democrats want changes to the immigration enforcement operation, including requiring agents to wear body cameras that are turned on. They also want them to not wear masks. The package approved by the Senate must now be cleared by the House of Representatives before it is sent to President Donald Trump's desk for signature. The package includes funding for the Defense Department, the Health Department, the Treasury, the federal court system, and other agencies until the end of 2026 fiscal year on September 30. And that's it for the news at 12. Up next, sports.
The Midday News was brought to you by Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
The Nationwide family. Something big is on the way. More access, more exclusives, more of what you've been asking for. Coming soon.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack on my figure, dig the wall.
Up a Total Tools.
Weed whack a figure, trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them, and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Outer Rias, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston. And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, up-to-the-minute local and international sports news, this is the Nationwide Sports at Noon.
Good afternoon, welcome to your lunchtime sports report. I'm Reid Buchanan. Jamaica's national under-17 women's football team will face Honduras in a highly anticipated top-of-the-table Group D showdown in the CONCACAF under-17 women's qualifiers on Monday at 6 p.m. in Aruba. Both teams enter the contest unbeaten, setting the stage for a decisive encounter that could determine group supremacy. Honduras currently leads the standings with a perfect 9 points from 3 matches, while the young Reggae Girls sit close behind in second place with 7 points from 3 starts. Jamaica have shown resilience and attacking quality throughout the tournament, collecting 2 wins and a draw to remain firmly in contention for qualification. Meanwhile, Honduras have been dominant so far, winning all 3 of their matches to take control at the top of the table. Monday's clash promises to be a stern test for both teams, with pride and crucial points on the line as the competition heads into its decisive phase. A positive result for Jamaica could see them leapfrog Honduras and strengthen their push towards qualification, while an Honduran victory would further cement their position as group leaders. Sticking with football, as action in the Jamaica Premier League continues on Monday, with Arnett Gardens hosting Dunbeholden FC at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. Match time is set for 7:30 p.m. A win for Arnett Gardens will push them up to 7th in the standings, while a Dunbeholden victory will see them joining Tivoli Gardens in 5th. Meanwhile, Lenworth Teacher Hyde kicks off his second stint as head coach of the Stars of the East Harbour View as they pull off a come-from-behind 2-2 draw with Tivoli Gardens on Sunday at a venue called Compound. Hyde says he's happy with how the team managed to keep their composure throughout the encounter.
I love what I think they showed some character, they showed the determination, and we wanted to win this thing. The effort was there. They tried everything, but it wasn't meant to be. We need some more composure on the pitch. We need to keep the ball more. So it's work in progress. We just have to continue work. And if they can bring this energy, what they bring, we can go up in the table. The guts to go out there and came back on both occasions. But as I said, we just have to continue working with the players, try and build that chemistry that is needed in the team. I love what I see, so it's something that we can work on.
Hyde was involved in his first game in charge of the team following the recent exit of coach Vass Reynolds. The veteran Hyde also explained that he's aware that he has his work cut out for him at the club as he tries to instill self-belief in his players.
It's for the coaching staff now to step up and let the players believe in themselves. That's the first thing. And to understand the system that we are bringing here. I love what I see. They are young, some Manning Cup players and some young Premier League players. So it's a good crop of youth I have to work with and the coaching staff have to work with. So we just have to put our best foot forward and continue on this road,
Now, veteran local coach Andrew Price believes that there is still merit in finding as many warm-up fixtures as possible for the Jamaica national men's senior team, as this could give the new-look coaching staff a better understanding of local players who could be used in their upcoming Inter-Confederation playoffs in March.
What we can do with having these B internationals like Grenada, and possibly I have heard rumors about us possibly playing Trinidad before those two games, is that we can take a keen look at local players to see their state of readiness if they are in fact involved or they are brought into the 23-man squad that is going to play those last two crucial games. So that would be the benefit of playing those B internationals at this point in time.
Now, interim head coach Rudolph Speed has only managed to oversee a solitary fixture thus far, which came on January 18 away to Grenada. That fixture was won by the Reggae Boys 1-0. According to Price, the lack of games heading into a possible two crucial FIFA World Cup matches without sufficient game time isn't unique to Jamaica.
So, the situation is very similar to all the teams that are going into the last phase of the qualification, where you basically only have 3 days before the games, and FIFA only allows you 3 days before the games where you can have your practice and be released from your club.
Andrew Price. Now, host Y Speedo's Swim Club emphatically retained the Carl Dalhouse Memorial Invitational title after a dominant showing at the National Stadium pool over the weekend. Alric Swaby tells us more.
Swimming in front of a home crowd, Y Speedos top every major category, finishing well clear of the field in both age group and the Masters competition. In the combined team scores, age group division, Y Speedos piled up an impressive 806.5 points, more than 280 points ahead of second place Tornado Swim Club, who finished with 524. Swimmers Aquatic Swim Club rounded out the top 3 on 338 points. The hosts were just as commanding in the Masters division, again finishing first with 121 points, nearly doubling Tornado's 66. Y Speedo's depth was on full display across the gender divisions. They captured the women's age group title with 356.5 points and followed up with another win in the men's age group division, scoring 346 points ahead of Sharks and Tornadoes. In Masters competition, while Speedos also claimed the men's Masters title with 66 points, while finishing runners-up in the women's category. With consistent podium finishes across all events, the hosts underline their dominance and ensure the Caldwell House Memorial Trophy stays right where it belongs, at home with Y Speedo Swim Club. Alex Ribby reporting for Nationwide Sports.
Thanks, Alric. Now, Jamaica's women were crowned champions of the CWI CG United Women's Super 50 Cup after a dominant weekend that sealed their 6th title in the competition's history. The Jamaicans confirmed their championship credentials with an emphatic 8-wicket victory over the Leeward Islands in the final round of the tournament. Chasing a modest target of 147, Jamaica showed composure and control with the bat to cross the line comfortably with 149 for 2 and secure the crucial points. Jamaica's title push was further boosted by an upset elsewhere as a previously unbeaten Windward Island suffered a 6-wicket defeat at the hands of Guyana. That result proved decisive in the final standings, allowing Jamaica to leapfrog their rivals and finish top of the table. At the close of the competition, Jamaica ended with 21 points to claim the championship. The Windward Islands finished second on 20 points, level with Guyana in third, while TNT followed closely in fourth with 19 points. Barbados placed fifth on 13 points, with the Leeward Islands running off the standings in sixth on 7 points. The title marks another significant achievement for Jamaica's women, underlining their consistency and strength in regional women's cricket and reaffirming their status as one of the Caribbean's premier teams. Now to some lacrosse news, as the Jamaica Lacrosse Association High Schools League delivered goals and excitement across several competitions with action in the under-15 and under-19 categories on the weekend. In the under-15 boys action, Wolmer's went down 3-1 to St. George's College. Jaden Gibson fouled the net for Wolmer's, but goals from Travis Livingston, Jaden Brown and David McKenzie sealed the win for STGC. The Maroon Cup under-19 girls clash between St. Catherine and Immaculate Conception ended in a thrilling 5-all draw. Deandra Barnes and Andreen Tuller both scored twice for St. Catherine, while Tiana Campbell netted a hat-trick for Immaculate Conception. Meanwhile, the game between Campion College and St. Hughes High was rescheduled. In the Taylor Cup under-19 boys, Wolmer's produced a dominant 16-1 victory over Calabar, led by a sensational 7-goal haul from Josiah Scott, while Rogue Sadler added 3. Calabar's lone goal came from Elijah Purser. Now, Kingston College also impressed, defeating St. Catherine High 16-1, with Regine Chin scoring 5 and braces from Armana Burnett and Xavier Lawrence. Now to run off sports news, now Spanish tennis ace Carlos Alcaraz, at the age of 22, became the youngest player to complete tennis's Grand Slam as he got the better of veteran Novak Djokovic 2-6, 6-2, 6-3, 7-5 in the Australian Open final on Sunday. The world number 1 ranked player explained that after losing the first set, he had to change his playing style in order to cope with Djokovic.
In the second set, I think the first game he made a few easy mistakes that he hadn't had in the first set. So that gave me a lot of calm, or I just trust and I believe that the match could change a little bit if I stay there mentally strong or mentally positive, trying to be solid. I just changed a little bit that it wasn't or it didn't work in the first set, so I changed a little bit, and I think that helped a lot to get into the match again and that feel more comfortable.
Carlos Alcaraz. See someone in the YouTube chat asking about the West Indies T20 World Cup jersey. I give it a thumbs up. Those are the stories making a lunchtime sports report. We'll be back though at 5:25 later this evening. Until then, stay tuned, stay glued, and stay locked in to Nationwide 90 FM.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Living in shared spaces can bring challenges. That's why the Commission of Strata Corporations facilitates fair dispute resolution. Whether you're a proprietor or representing the corporation, you can apply using our online form. Our neutral forum allows issues to be fully aired and resolved under the guidance of the Act. We may also issue orders on matters like demolition of extensions, removal of unauthorized vehicles or animals, and varying excessive maintenance contributions. Apply for dispute resolution with the Commission today. Visit reb.gov.jm for more information.
Recapping our top stories making the nationwide world at noon. Former PNP MP Jolyon Silvera pleads guilty to manslaughter in the 2023 death of his wife Melissa. Sections of the corporate area St. Catherine and Clarendon are without electricity amid a cold snap. Finance Minister Favour Williams says Jamaica's debt is expected to return to the 60% of GDP target by 2030. I'm Tona Thomas. You can find the news on our website at rivanews.ai and on the Riva News app, available on Google Play and the App Store. Major news next at 5.
Exclusive content, behind-the-scenes moments, and priority updates. Coming soon to Nationwide 90 FM.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Wake up, Jamaica.
It's another glorious day on Nationwide this morning. From your 6 a.m. alarm, to the news at 6.
Coming up in the news at 6.
To me telling you what's on my mind.
To more news at 7 a.m. Coming up in the news at 7. And then the biggest issues dissected, interrogated, and discussed on the front page. Nationwide this morning fires you up and sets you right for the remainder of the day.
And there's much more until 9 a.m. Want to know which roads to avoid on your morning commute?
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Little Clean.
Listen to Street Smart.
Want to hear more about things happening at the community level outside the bustling corporate area? Listen to Across Jamaica.
George, it's someone's birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah, my friend.
And that someone will hear a special greeting every morning via the Birthday Club.
Nationwide this morning on the revolution in media.
It's coffee, tea, and everything else
for those who want an energetic, rip-roaring start to their day.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, and 630-9374.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock, like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you so very much for staying with us right here inside Cliff Hughes Online. The station is Nationwide 90 FM, and we are on the closing leg of today's edition of the program. Of course, a major news item that was broken during Cliff Hughes Online by George Davis, and of course you heard it there. It's further details from Tawna Thomas in the World at noon. Former People's National Party MP Julian Silvera pleading guilty to manslaughter in relation to that case of murder he's facing in the gun court. It's a story that was being watched, particularly because she was initially reported to have died in her sleep, and of course then the post-mortem results showed that that was not the case, and that she in fact suffered from gunshot wounds. I see Tony saying on our YouTube channel that the DPP should not accept the plea. Is what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that matter, because this is a major development. It's a major case in the country that people are watching to see what will happen. And with that development concerning the media and the ability of the media to cover the case, it really had people talking about whether or not there is going to be one law for the Medes and one for the Persians, But we have Hope Town online. Remember the lines to reach us, 876-630-9371 or 876-618-6730. Hope Town, you're there with us. Top of the afternoon to you.
Yeah, blessings. Yes, Hope Town here.
Yes, sir.
How are you? Greetings to you and your listeners.
And greetings to you, sir.
Yeah, I want to just put a little light on a situation. Like farmers generally in Jamaica and farmers in particularly in, say, the Bushy Park area of St. Catherine, right? you have, well, I am a farmer, right? And you have this, let's say, a perennial challenge of the livestock farmers versus the crop farmers. I am a crop farmer, right? And you have a lot of problems with cows.
A lot of problems with what you say? Who
with cows.
With cows.
Stray cows. Yes. Stray cows.
Okay.
And in particular, the Bushy Park area, you have two farmers in particular, of course I won't name them, and they have over 100 head of cattle between them, and they have no land. So you know what happens when that you have that situation, right? But whenever you try to speak to the authorities about these things, it really goes nowhere. You go to the police and you go through a routine, and they will tell you that, okay, you're going to have to try to impound, but there are no active pounds in that area. So you just go in circles. And these owners of cattle, they don't care. Because just think about it, a man have 100 head of cattle and he not have 1 acre of land. So you know what's going to happen there. Over on your farm, I don't just damage your crops, it damage your equipment and set you back right here. So you see a lot of people who in farming and will come out of farming because of this issue. And people who know the issue will not get into farming. So I'm trying to use your medium to reach out to the minister. So it's something that needs to be addressed, because when you go to that level, they will tell you that the old laws on the books prevent you from, say, shooting a cow because background master did have cow and whatever. But we're tired of hearing that. They need to put forward, what you call it, table bills or whatever. In fact, I think this minister would be very well placed, because if I understand, he's a lawyer also, right? So I would think that he would try to strengthen that kind of legislation and let you have balance so that crop farmers can survive. Because you have, as we say, have these people with these woolly cows and they don't care. Because Bushy Park, you have these cows just running wild, and it's not 1 or 2 crop farmers that's suffering. And not just your everyday farmer where have a 1 acre, 2 acre, large farms too. Because even the government agro park, they run wild in there, mash up the place. I suffer, many others suffer, and it just continues, and you don't see no end in sight. It's very frustrating. And why you might wonder why I come at this time, because up to 2 nights ago, I suffer. I may have this on video, but what? When you go to one of those persons and show them say it's not their cow, because the cows are not tagged or anything like that, you know. And
so you have the video with the cows. 1 second, Hoopton. You're saying you have video of the cows actually
in my place, of course.
You mind sharing that with us?
I would share it, yes.
All right. So when we're finished here, I'm going to ask you to hold the line, and Nora will let you know the details where you can send the video. All right. So just hold the line for us. But so the problem is these individuals you're saying, the cattle farmers, the livestock farmers, they are allowing their cows to roam free, and they're entering your premises, your property, and they're destroying your crops.
Yes.
You're saying this is not just in your case. You're saying other.
No, man. Many cases. All down Clarendon, because I have friends in down those areas.
So the obvious question to me, a non-farming person, is these individuals that own the livestock, do they have fencing, and do you and the other crop farmers,
repeat that. Do they have what?
Fencing.
Fencing. All right. The issue, like in my case in particular, there is fencing, but you know, over time you're gonna have like rotten posts and those kind of things over time. So these cows, you know, they are not regular, them wild, you know. So what they do, they come and they brace the fence, and once they find a breach, cow don't forget where them going, you know. And once one go through there, there's a whole herd they coming through there. And it trample your place, man. And you can't. It's not like these are wild cows, you know. So you can't just go try to face them like that. You can run them, yes, but you can't go too forceful with it because you hurt yourself.
Well, all right. There must be a solution, though. There must be a solution. And
the laws need to change. That is what, because these cattle owners know that.
But in the interim, though. No, but in the interim, I mean, there must be some short-term measure that can be put in place. It can't, because legislation takes some time to pass.
True, but
so what are some of the interim measures? Is it that we need to insist that these livestock farmers put in proper fencing to keep their cattle on their property? That's perhaps the short-term measure.
Is in this particular area that I'm talking about. Them don't have no land, so they have nothing to fence. When
you say they don't have any land, no, hold on there, man. That I heard you with that. I thought you were being hyperbolic, like you're exaggerating.
No, they don't have no land. They don't have no land at all. They don't have no land. I mean, they might have where them live, but that can't hold cow.
So they don't have no land. The cows are always on some. So the cows are always on somebody else's property?
Yes, exactly.
No, man, that's not tenable, man. What about the folks at RADA and this agricultural
They are aware.
Within the JCF and the agricultural division within the JCF? Because if these cows are trespassing onto your property, keep coming over your property, is there something the police can do in terms of getting these individuals to keep their cattle in a secure space?
Like those in Bushy Park, as I tell you see, because the cows aren't tagged or whatever, when you get damaged and you try to approach them tell you, say, oh, it's the other man cow. And you just going back and forth because you can't catch them. You can't catch the cow, them, you know. That's the problem, to hold the cow and let them come identify them animals. So, but they benefit, you know, because what they do, you know, they need some money, them just shoot a few cow and sell, right? That's how they operate.
Look here, listen to me.
Once they damage your place and you try to get any compensation, it's not theirs.
All right, give Lady Nora your number and send her the video that you have, and we're gonna see how best we can reach out to the powers that be and have someone look into the situation for you. All right?
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, man, this is a serious matter.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm really sorry about what you've been suffering. This is
not just me. I'm not talking just for me. It's really for
other farmers as well. But it's not really so. Something needs to be done. All right, we're gonna look into it. All right, we've gone past the time for our break, so let's take the break and then we come back and wrap things up. But hold the line, give your number to Nora, send her that video, and we're gonna see if we can look into this matter for you. All right, Hope Time? All right. This is Cliff Hughes Online. We take the break right here and come back.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose.
Think you know Jamaica? Culture, sports, current affairs? Then get ready to be put on the spot. Every Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m., Nationwide 90 FM gets the adrenaline pumping with Jamaica's newest live game show. Fast questions, real callers, live YouTube, real prizes. 1 minute you're listening, next minute you're on the spot. Can you think quickly? Can you answer fast? Prove your intellect on the spot. Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
National Rural School Bus Program is getting smarter. With your child's student ID card, parents receive real-time notifications every time they board or exit the bus. Each card is unique and securely linked to the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth, and Information database. Tap on, tap off, and parents stay updated instantly. So, how do you register? Number 1, visit jamaica-district.mysmartterm.com/bus-portal/registration. Number 2, enter your child's details. Number 3, upload supporting documents. Number 4, submit your application. It's that easy. Safer, smarter, more secure. Register today and ride with peace of mind.
Nationwide has always been a family. Now we're making it official. Family Club coming soon.
The news cycle doesn't end on Friday. It needs perspective. That's why every Sunday at midday, Nationwide 90 FM presents The Week That Was. A clear, informed review of the top stories that shaped the past week. What really mattered and what lies ahead. No noise, no theatrics, just analysis, context, and clarity. The Week That Was. Sundays at 12 noon with a repeat at 6:30 p.m. Understand the news before the week begins. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
My hands were steady. My eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose. My steps were quick and light.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us right here inside Cliff Hughes Online. We're in the closing embers of today's program, but we definitely need to have a look into what Hopeton raised there with us. And Hopeton, if you're listening, you can send the video to 876-280-6629. Perhaps it's something the news team can also follow up, and we'll try to see if we can get in touch with the folks who are in the part of the governance structure for agriculture in this country to assist Hopeton in how to lawfully respond to this in the short term. He's saying there it requires some amount of legislation to address this, but certainly this matter should be able to be addressed by some short-term intervention, that deals with this issue. Someone on our YouTube channel, Booker T287, says Tyrone on North Coast, people have horses and put them overnight on people's property. Horses are for tourist horse riding. Owners live large, fail to invest in land. What's the saying going on there, Booker T? That can't be. that can't be true, man. Obed Cephas says, I had a similar experience as Hopeton and had to leave my farm in the same area. Badman run the area for years and nothing is being done about it, says Obed. Well, we definitely need to, with the improvements that we're making in crime, perhaps you can think about going back, Obed Cephas, to see if you can resume your farming there. We need to have a look at this situation. The final one I'll give is Who Am I? Says prosperity of wild cow abundance in Jamaica. Why are we complaining? Seriously, who am I? I'm not even certain that comment there warrants a response. No, the cows are damaging the crops of farmers, and we need the crop farming as well. You understand? There's a symbiotic relationship, between all of us here, and so we need to fix that problem. He says he's not the only one, and so definitely it's something that needs to be looked into. All right, that's where we're gonna have to leave it for today, though. For this Monday edition of Cliff Hughes Online. I think Ricardo should be with you tomorrow on an outside broadcast. Nora, could you confirm with me? I do think Ricardo should be here tomorrow. But I want to thank our super producers, Norgay Banton, Michelle McCree Smith, our technical operator, the man behind the controls, Mr. Kevin Williams. Thanks to all the hardworking members of the news and production team. Yeah, on behalf of all of us here nationwide, thank you so much for sticking and staying with us and making it nationwide. Do not touch that dial at the top of the hour. It's all things entertainment before we get to the flagship program nationwide at 5 p.m. But before then, please pause for a refreshing drink from the scriptures with Lady Loy. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
You've just heard Cliff Hughes Online with Tyrone Reid on Nationwide 90 FM.
Like a rock. My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be.
Welcome to Oasis, brought to you by the New Testament Church of God, 65 Waltham Park Road, Kingston 11. The church that is one big family.
Hi, I'm Loy Gale. Thanks for joining me, and I am excited. Moses makes a declaration. God brought us out of Egypt with a powerful hand. Indeed, God did. And how did all this come about? It so happened that after Pharaoh released the people, God didn't lead them by the road through the land of the Philistines, which was the shortest route. For God thought, if the people encounter war, they'll change their minds and say, back to Egypt. So God led the people on the wilderness road, looping around to the Red Sea. Israelites left Egypt in military formation. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the Israelites solemnly swear to do it, saying, God will surely hold you accountable, so make sure you bring my bones from here with you. They moved on from Succoth and then camped at Etham at the edge of the wilderness. God went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud by day to guide them on the way, and at night in a pillar of fire to give them light. Thus they could travel both day and night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night never left the people.